Sean had to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that.
I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
Jaws are falling all across the world because of the betrayal that nobody saw coming. According to reports, Sean Carter, better known by his stage as Jay-Z, has taken a daring and strategic step to separate himself from his longtime companion. Diddy's comms, this is not merely a tale of waning friendship or professional rivalry. Rather, it is a full-fledged legal battle with Jay-Z's survival at stake. If the rumors are accurate, Jay's team has chosen to blame Diddy, making him bear the brunt of the accusations against them both. What's even more shocking is the rumor that Bayon is the one pushing her husband to take this drastic measure in order to safeguard their empire. Could this be the biggest betrayal in hip-hop history?
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
The most recent court documents from Jay-Z's formidable lawyer Alex SPO vividly depict a guy who has been pushed to the brink. Jay-Z, who has adamantly denied any involvement in the alleged incident from 2000, is fighting valiantly to clear his name. His legal team has adopted a scorched earth strategy, blaming Diddy as the real culprit in addition to the plaintiff's attorney Tony Busby. According to those familiar with the matter, Spyro has stated in court filings that Jay-Z is not interested in communications that portray him as the main player in this legal battle. Jay's approach was to just let Diddy bear the brunt of the blame.
In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?"
The strategy's justification is seen in Diddy's present situation. According to Jay-Z's attorneys, CMS is already dealing with a mound of legal issues, including grave federal charges that could put him in jail for decades. Legal experts have pointed out that Jay-Z's case appears to center on portraying himself as an innocent spectator who has been unjustly drawn into the problem due to his proximity to Diddy by blaming Kaleem's. Diddy is a sinking ship, and any relationship with him is a liability. Jay's camp is essentially arguing that since he's already losing, why not let him win this one as well? To make matters worse, there are claims that Jay-Z may have given police behind-the-scenes intelligence regarding Diddy's claimed misconduct. Although there is no official confirmation of this, legal insiders are speculating that Jay-Z might be working with investigators to save himself. If this is the case, it would be a stunning turn of events for two men who have shared a long history together. Brotherhood would surely view this as the ultimate betrayal.
Interesting, because obviously this civil suit was coming for a while.
Yep.
And there was some talk between Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers. I think both Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers are really alphas.
However, when Bayon enters the scene, the narrative thickens. Numerous sources have said that the pop icon, who is well known for her fastidious control over her brand and public image, is actively involved in Jay-Z's decision-making process. Bayon is allegedly pressuring her husband to take any necessary actions to safeguard their family, and according to a close insider, she has warned Jay-Z that even the slightest association with Diddy is too risky. If this is accurate, it would highlight how serious the situation is for the Carters, who are committed to maintaining their position as one of the most powerful couples in the world.
Currently is balancing the public's need for information and the defense's need for information so they can prepare for trial versus the effect that this will have on the alleged victim and her psyche. And obviously the world knows that as soon as her name is revealed, everyone is going to come down on her, from the media to her, to his attorneys, to the social media. You're going to get it from all sides.
In his court documents, Jay-Z has taken a harsh stance, accusing Tony Busby of being reckless and opportunistic. Busby is described as a headline in court petitions. They contend that the plaintiff's account has obvious contradictions and that Chaser wasted no time in producing facts to cast doubt on her reliability since they neglected to thoroughly investigate the claims prior to bringing the complaint. According to sources, Jay-Z's camp is requesting that the court impose penalties on Busby, effectively accusing him of exploiting the legal system for his own benefit. This combative strategy is typical. Jay-Z did the math. Tenacious and built to dominate the story, Diddy, meantime, is reportedly furious over Jay-Z's strategies. According to those close to the troubled music company, he feels deceived and caught off guard by someone he once regarded as a close friend for years. The two men were viewed as brothers in the industry, working together on songs, going to events together, and even sharing charitable endeavors. However, Diddy apparently feels abandoned now that their legal issues are getting worse.
Jay-Z got his by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting whooped.
Both sides are using insults in the media, demonstrating the obvious animosity between the two groups. In a recent statement, Busby retaliated against Jay-Z's legal team, accusing them of bullying methods and desperation. He called the filings frivolous and intended to intimidate, saying that they believe they can scare us into giving up, but they are mistaken. In addition to saying, "We stand by our client and her claims," Busby also alluded to potential future revelations, which would heighten the intrigue surrounding this issue.
You know, a lot of times lawsuits are like playing poker. Like you even when you feign, that you have strength, it could be that you have some weakness in your case. So Busby's never going to say that he doesn't have the evidence. I mean, Busby's always going to say he's got the evidence. He's always going to say, "Oh, we're going to look at multiple other people. We're going to do all this," because he wants to put that fear into that individual.
Jay-Z's lawyers have carefully examined the plaintiff's timeline, arguing that it doesn't add up. They have pointed out inconsistencies in her account, such as her description of the party location and the people she allegedly interacted with. Spyro has even gone so far as to declare parts of her account impossible, citing photographic evidence that places Jay-Z elsewhere on the night in question. This tactic is intended to raise doubts by portraying Jay-Z as the victim of mistaken identity or, worse, a deliberate attempt to tarnish his reputation. The core of Jay-Z's defense is his insistence that he has no connection to the alleged incident.
Obviously getting a whole new wave of attention and more focused attention on this victim. So I think it's going to be tied to the media cycle, if I had to guess, and how these rulings continue. And they have this celebrity name that is sort of waiting to take over the headlines when they choose to release it. So I think it will be added, but it's going to be a strategic time.
However, other analysts think Jay-Z's tough approach could backfire because by publicly criticizing Diddy, he runs the danger of offending fans who respect both men and view their partnership as a pillar of hip-hop. History shows that public opinion can be harsh, and some detractors have already charged Jay-Z with using Diddy as a shield to protect himself. The question of whether Jay-Z's actions are justified or just self-serving for a man who has built his reputation on devotion and honesty has dominated social media. The implications of this move are unquestionably complex as the legal drama plays out. There is no doubt that the stakes could not be greater. Jay-Z is battling not just for his liberty but also for his family, his reputation, and the Carters are putting up a united front in the face of hardship. But will this tactic succeed, or will it only serve to widen the gap between Jay-Z and two men who once stood side by side at the pinnacle of the music industry? Every move he makes is being examined, every statement is being deconstructed for hidden meaning, and BA is reportedly guiding him behind the scenes.
Respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress.
The lengthy history between Jay-Z and Diddy, their friendship, their shared victories, and now their bitter fallout is what makes the story even more compelling. However, how did two of hip-hop's most iconic figures end up in a legal battle that could end their lives together? To understand the present, we must look back at the moments that defined their relationship and set the stage for this explosive conflict because, even though Jay-Z may be separating from Diddy, their stories are now inextricably linked, and as this drama plays out, one can't help but wonder if this is the end of their friendship, just the end of their friendship, or just the start of a fresh phase.
So, civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, we'll see what happens, or if the DA looks and investigates.
Their friendship once represented the cohesion and power of hip-hop's elite, but now it's a battlefield where loyalty has been replaced by court documents and public accusations. The breakup of Jay-Z and Sen Diddy's relationship is nothing short of a modern-day epic, a tale of ambition, treachery, and the merciless spotlight of fame. We must go back in time and examine the beginnings of their relationship, their ascent to fame, and the fissures that ultimately caused their once unbreakable alliance to fall apart in order to completely comprehend the scope of this fallout. When hip-hop was moving from underground rebellion to mainstream dominance in the 1990s, both Jay-Z and Diddy were at the forefront of this cultural shift-revolution, each establishing his empire with an unparalleled blend of skill and business savvy. While Diddy, a Harlem native, was already a legendary figure, a master of reinvention, and a mogul who made everything he touched into gold or platinum, Jay-Z, a Brooklyn native, was the tenacious underdog with razor-sharp lyrics and an entrepreneurial mentality that marked him apart.
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated.
Early in Jay-Z's career, when Diddy was already well known due to his work with the infamous B and Bad Boy records, their paths first intersected. Jay-Z, who was still making a name for himself, found an ally in Diddy, who saw his potential and provided him with opportunities in the industry. Their partnership on Jay-Z's second album, My Lifetime Volin, solidified their working relationship, with Diddy adding his trademark flair to the project. At the time, the two men seemed unstoppable, a dynamic duo that personified the boldness and aspirations of a generation.
Not buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also, too, mean emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change their testimony.
However, as their careers took off, so did their egos, and by the early 2000s, Jay-Z and Diddy had changed from partners to rivals fighting for supremacy in a quickly growing market. Diddy's Bad Boy Entertainment and Jay's Rockefeller Records emerged as rival powerhouses. Although the competition was largely amicable, there were hints of underlying tension because both men were fiercely protective of their brands and unwilling to cede even a small portion of their territory to the other. Nevertheless, despite the sporadic conflict, they maintained a public facade of respect and friendship. Fast forward to the 2010s, and the relationship's cracks became apparent. By this time, Jay-Z had become a multi-billionaire mogul with ventures in music, fashion, sports, and spirits. Diddy, nevertheless, remains a powerful force, found it difficult to keep up with Jay-Z's unrelenting ascent, and their relationship changed as Diddy was reduced to the status of an elderly legend clinging to his former glory, and Jay-Z was increasingly viewed as the king of the hill. Industry insiders began to speculate that their friendship had turned into a Cold War in which both men harbored unspoken grievances.
If you say the wrong thing or you complain or I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing, or when they're constantly asking, would you like to do and you're like, well, I don't do and they're like, well, why don't you do?
The turning point occurred in 2024 when Diddy's legal issues spilled over into Jay-Z's orbit. For years, rumors had swirled about the darker side of Diddy's empire, but no one could have foreseen the wave of accusations that would come crashing down as Diddy's name became toxic and a liability for anyone associated with him. In hindsight, the warning signs were there all along. Jay-Z's calculated image as a family man and philanthropist was increasingly at odds with Diddy's reputation for excess and controversy, while Jay-Z developed relationships with corporate giants and world leaders stuck in the past, a holdover from a time when wealth and bluster were the keys to success, and for Jay-Z, siding with Diddy was not only inconvenient but also risky.
I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
However, the fallout wasn't limited to optics. According to people familiar with the matter, Jay-Z had long questioned Diddy's loyalty. The two men had argued behind closed doors about business matters and creative disagreements, and their once strong friendship had crumbled into a tenuous alliance when the lawsuits came. Jay-Z saw a chance to break things off for good by portraying himself as a victim of circumstance rather than a co-conspirator in the alleged wrongdoings.
He was using, allegedly, these events to invite them back to these private mansion parties and hotel parties and God knows what else. But he was utilizing the branded events to be able to, get the girls to come over to his private spaces, allegedly.
Jay-Z's legal team has crafted a brilliant and brutal narrative by focusing on Diddy. In court filings, they have highlighted the lack of evidence linking Jay-Z to the allegations and painted him as a scapegoat targeted because of his fame and wealth. This tactic has won over some skeptics, but it has also drawn criticism for its cold pragmatism because, after all, this isn't just a legal battle, it's a public spectacle, and the optics of putting a longtime friend under the bus are difficult to ignore. Diddy, for his part, isn't taking the betrayal lightly. According to insiders, he feels deceived and abandoned by Jay-Z, whom he previously like a brother according to reports. The F has left Diddy reeling not only from the legal ramifications but also from the personal toll it has had on a guy who has always taken pleasure in his allegiance. Diddy has been largely silent in the media, but some close to him claim that he is preparing his own counteroffensive and that part of that plan may involve showing dirty laundry, which explores Jay-Z's past. Jay-Z's actions are a tough pill to swallow.
I'm not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee. He has a civil background.
The industry as a whole is seeing the ripple effects of this feud, with friends and colleagues being compelled to take sides in the once unified hip-hop elite disintegrating under the strain of the dispute. According to reports, Beyonce, who has consistently provided stability in Jay-Z's life, is advising him to stick with his plan and prioritize his future and family over the fallout, but even she is powerless to protect him from the whispers. The intricacy of Jay-Z and Diddy's relationship is what makes this story so captivating, despite the side-eye that comes with such a well-publicized betrayal. They are more than just 2 individuals embroiled in a court dispute. They are representations of an age. It is now a warning about the destructive force of ambition and the frailty of even the strongest bonds. In a society that values loyalty and brotherhood above all else, their friendship was once a lighthouse of what was possible when 2 black men helped and encouraged one another in a world that frequently sought to destroy them.
Well, Combs is separated from the general population, right? He's was with Sam Bankman-Fried at least, and the irony there is that's someone who was granted bail, tried to tamper with witnesses, so the judge revoked his bail. So that just goes to show how these federal judges feel about witness tampering before trial.
As the legal drama develops, everyone is wondering how this will all end. Will Diddy be able to regain his place in the pantheon of hip-hop legends, or will this be the last chapter in his story career? One thing is certain, though, this isn't just a battle for justice, it's a battle for their legacies, their families, and their place in history, and the outcome will shape Jay-Z's future. Will he emerge unharmed, his reputation intact, and his empire secure, or will the fallout from his actions leave a permanent stain on his legacy? The story of hip-hop for future years.
And that's not the first time we've seen this tactic, and the last time it actually worked. We reported on this too.
The world will be watching, analyzing every move and every statement as the court cases and new revelations unfold because, in the end, this isn't just about 2 men, it's about the culture they helped shape, the empire they built, and the crack that threatens to bring it all crashing down. So, what do you think about Jay-Z's actions? Is he justified in them? Or has he crossed a line that can never be uncrossed? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of hip-hop? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. And as usual, check back for additional information. Developing drama.